Hey everyone, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so very much for stopping by and watching. Today I am sharing Spellbinders release with Simon Hurley. It's Simon's Snow Globes. I have 2 cards for you today using products from that release, and they turned out super cute. And I am using some embossing folders and some die cuts to create these cards. And I also used a soft pink and green color scheme. So here is the Simon's Snow Globe. You have your snow globe pieces, and then you have your little pieces that are going to go inside. So we have this cute, I'm calling it a Christmas village because I made a Christmas card out of it. Like I said, I did kind of a pink and a light pink and light green colored theme going on here, but I'm going to do some ink blending. So I'm really die cutting most of my images from white cardstock. I have die cut the circle. I'm going to add this last row of, or this back row of houses. So it'll die cut, leave the houses, but you'll remove the top piece, if that makes sense. Then there's another little piece that I'm going to die cut. First, I want to die cut another circle. That way it just fits the shape of the circle and I don't have to trim anything. So I have this circle here. I'm going to cut another little snowbank basically, so I can run that through my die cut machine. Usually I do my die cutting off camera, but I felt like this one would be easier to kind of show you. So now we have that piece. Then I have to die cut one more white circle for the background. Now we have this layered top part of our snow globe. Then we have extra little houses. There's pieces for, like a couple pieces for the roof line. There are some Christmas trees. There are doors and windows. I'm going to die cut those from black cardstock. There's also some like really cute street lights that we're going to die cut from black cardstock. And then I'm also going to bring in some gold mirror cardstock. So here are the little windows and doors. I cut a few extra because I wasn't quite sure how many houses I was going to put on the front. But I love that row of houses in the background, and I am going to add a little bit of detail to that. We're going to add some snowfall and some snow, so I'll show you how I will do that. And then again, there's a second card to this from that same Simon's Snow Globes release through Spellbinders. Here's the base of the snow globe. Then you have Santa and his reindeer. I die cut that from the gold mirror, but you could obviously die cut that from any color. Then you have sentiments. I'm using the Merry Christmas sentiment, but you can see that there's 4 of them. I don't remember all of everything that they say. I know one of them says Jingle Bells, and I cannot remember the other one. I'm so sorry. So I die cut from a piece of white glitter cardstock from Lawn Fawn. This is, oh gosh, I hope I wrote it down. Yes, it's Pixie Dust cardstock from Lawn Fawn. I'm adding the Merry Christmas sentiment die on top of that, so it's going to die cut out. Then we want to add another color behind it, so the Merry Christmas has a color behind it. You could also die cut it again from a colored cardstock and then just inlay the letters for the Merry Christmas. So I'm going to take this banner piece again and die cut from, oh, you know what? I'm not there yet. So hold that thought. We'll get back to that and I'll show you what I did with the sentiment. Okay, let's start ink blending our background. This is the full circle to our snow globe. I'm using SEAFOAM ink from Spellbinders. No, from Simon Says Stamp, you guys. I'm so sorry. This is their Pawsitively saturated ink. I'm going to add a little bit of that below the houses here and a little bit on the top of the last little snowbank. So this is going to give us all of that snowy feel. I'm still leaving some white areas on the bottom so we have snow. Now I'm going to do the green colors. I'm using Aspen and Sage, but you can see I have a piece of cardstock here just to mask off my hill so I don't get the green on the hill. So I've got 2 different colors of green. They're very similar, but one's lighter than the other. Then I have my trees. I'm going to do those in the same color again, Aspen and Sage. This is the Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively saturated inks. I'm using the mini blender brush. I have 6 trees here. I ended up using all 6 actually. Usually I die cut more than I need, but I used them all. And then I'm using some Distress Oxide inks and Picked Raspberry and Spun Sugar. So that's the Spun Sugar, and then here's the Picked Raspberry. So I have a lighter pink and a darker pink house. And then, like I said, with the die cuts, you have the roof line. So this I die cut from black. It has the roof and the chimney. There's also another piece for the roof that I have die cut in white because I want it to look like there's going to be snow, but I'm going to add a little something extra to this to give it more of that textured snow feel. Then you have the windows and doors. I opted to die cut that from black, and I did that because you could die cut it from white, which would be really cute. I opted for black so it would stand out since I'm adding a lot of snow detail onto this card. So a little bit of my Barely Art liquid glue, putting those windows in place, and the other one has a door and a window. Then my little lights that I have just pushed out the top part, like the cute little street lights. They're like the old-fashioned kind, and they're really cute. Now let's add some detail. I'm using my black glaze pen to the chimneys of the houses in the back. I started to use my white gel pen for the roof line and snow, but then I was like, no, I'm going to add something else, which we'll do that here in just a little bit. Now let's put this together, adding some adhesive, lining that back piece up. Then we have our front snowy hillside basically, and then that's where the bottom piece to our snow globe fits. I love that it's in gold. I love a good mirror cardstock. Now here's where I'm going to add the bottom sentiment. Here is that little banner piece. I am going to ink blend it with pink because I like the pink, so I'm using the Spun Sugar. And this is going to go behind the little piece that we've already die cut from Lawn Fawn's Pixie Dust. So it's got this white glitter. It feels very snowy. I can adhere that down, and then you can see the Merry Christmas through it, and it will be in pink. And then that's going to go at the bottom of our snow globe. But let's get our houses together. I like to lay everything out ahead of time. I do like having the two different colors of trees so you can have them together and still feel like you can see all of the trees. I've got the two little houses, one's tucked into the hill, one's in front of the hill, and then all of the little trees just placed around. Now let's add our glue, these reverse tweezers from Spellbinders. You could use reverse tweezers from anywhere because they just work fantastic. Keeping your fingers out of the glue, putting these little tiny pieces in place. I'm tucking these guys behind that hill. One of these trees is going to go off the edge, and I'm going to trim that off. And then this little guy is going to go behind the house. But look at how cute this is. We still have a lot more detail to add, so definitely hang tight. Of course, some foam tape behind my sentiment because you guys know I like my sentiment to be popped up. These cute little lights, I'm just going to add 2 of them. And I do like the pop of black on this, even though it's really a soft card. I think the pop of black adds a little something extra. Okay, here's our little snow detail. I am using Nuvo Crystal Drops in Simply White. I'm adding it to all of the roof lines. I'm adding it onto the trees where like the pine tree limbs would be sticking out and snow would gather on that when it's snowing. I'm adding that to all of the trees. I'm going to add stuff to the top of the chimneys because snow does like to collect on the top of the chimney, and thankfully I zoomed in that way you guys could see. So here's the snow on the roof lines of the houses in the back to give that a little extra detail. And then on those chimneys, just like I talked about. And then we're going to add another snowy detail because I want it to look like it's actively snowing. So I have this in my splatter box. I have some tape taping off the bottom. I have some white acrylic paint. I thinned it out with some water, and I'm just splattering, and I'm gonna splatter a lot because I want this to look like big snowflakes are falling. Lots and lots and lots of snow. And then when I can remove this is mint tape. This is a huge roll, like a thick, wide roll of mint tape from scrapbook.com. and I really love it because it really doesn't usually tear my paper. I think the only time it's ever done that is if my paper's been on the wetter side, but I just was able to mask that off, and look at how great that is. The snow is everywhere. Okay, let's create a backdrop for this. I am using Spellbinders 3D embossing folder. It has snowflakes on it. It's gorgeous. I'm going to adhere everything to the front of that, and I forgot to record it. You guys, please, I'm so sorry. Please just bear with me while I get back into making videos, because I definitely been on the struggle bus. But this will be adhered to a white A2 size card base, and there is foam tape behind Santa and his reindeer. Okay, let's do our next card with the Simon Hurley release. This is the Playful Poinsettias 3D embossing folder, and there's a coordinating die. I'm sticking my A2 size card base in just part way. I only want the bottom part of my card to have the textured images from the embossing folder, but then I have to do this 2 more times because this large flower, there's only one flower that the die cut fits. I want 2 of these for the front of my card, so I'm going to run this through with the embossing folder with my die cut machine. Then I'm going to place my die on here, tape it in place, and run it through. I'm going to do this for both card panels. Now what's going to happen is when you run it through to die cut it, it's going to smash down a lot of the detail that you get from the 3D embossing folder. So we're going to run it through again so that way we can get all of that back. So I'm going to open this back up, place my flower back inside, tape it down, and run it through my die cut machine one more time. So it's a little extra step, but it's completely worth it. And now it has the full 3D effect. I am taping off the top part. I am using Aspen ink. I meant to use Sage, so I stopped using the Aspen. Sage is a little bit darker, and I'm just gently ink blending over. I want the raised areas to catch the ink more than the background, so the background will have a softer green look to it, and then the raised areas will catch that ink. Now I want to paint on my other flowers here using Distress Oxide ink in Spun, Sugar, and Picked Raspberry. I've pressed the ink pad onto my work surface, added a little bit of water. I'm just using a paintbrush. This is actually my paintbrush pen, but I don't ever have water in it, so I just use it like a paintbrush. The base color is the Spun, Sugar, Distress Oxide ink. I'm going to do this for both flowers, and then I'm going to come back in with the Picked Raspberry and add a little bit more detail. Again, keeping with that same light pink and green color combination that I did on the first card. Now I am going to add a little bit more water to the Picked Raspberry because it is a much darker color and I don't want it to be so stark. And thankfully I finally thought to zoom in, and so if my flower gets a little bit lower, I am so sorry, but you guys are getting the gist of it, and like I said, just bear with me while I get back into the swing of things. Look at how pretty that is. You have all this beautiful detail from the embossing folder. I think it's just absolutely stunning, and what a great idea to have a die cut that goes along with it. I know there's other ones out there, but I just think it's kind of a genius idea. Okay, I'm going to add some foam tape behind these guys. I'm going to put them up at the top. I want to leave a space at the top for my sentiment, and actually my sentiment is from let's see, I don't know if yes I did, Snowflake Edges from Simon Says Stamp. I want to use some more Nuvo crystal drops in pale gold and autumn red, so I'm adding the gold to the centers of the poinsettias, and then I'm going to use the autumn red to add dots. So there's already some areas to add dots on the bottom part of our card. Those ones I did in gold, but I actually ended up changing it to the red. And then I'm going to add some more of my own dots because it just felt out of balance, if that makes sense. I also put my finger in that pale gold crystal drop. So here I'm adding the autumn red to the existing dots, but then I'm like, it just needs more. It's just not enough. I want more red on here. So I decided to just go ahead and add my own, and you know, you can just do what you want. This is your card. You can make it however you want to make it. So I'm just going to add a few here and there, a couple bigger areas, a couple smaller areas. And then I'm going to stamp that sentiment, which I'm pretty sure I didn't record that either, you guys, and I'm so sorry. But I stamped it from the Simon Says Stamp Snowflake Edges using Lawn Fawn's Lobster ink, which is a beautiful red ink. And it's a really small sentiment. It says joy and peace, which you guys will see here in just a little bit. I am going to add some white dots with my white gel pen, just adding some details to the petals of the flowers. I'm going to do that on both of the flowers. I'm not going to do anything for the bottom half. I want these flowers to be a little bit more detailed than the embossed part at the bottom. But I do like the white edge at the top. I think it turned out nicely. And this will also be adhered to a white A2 size card base. So I did stamp that. I actually stamped it with an acrylic block, but I would say stamp it first and then do all your Nuvo crystal drops, because I completely forgot to do that. But didn't that turn out pretty? I love this. And again, this is from Simon Hurley's Simon's Snow Globe release. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project, and I hope you guys have a really wonderful day. Thanks again for all of your support with my family, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.